So this is a 1971 Yamaha JT1 Mini Enduro. It is the miniature version of Yamaha's Enduros. And Yamaha made these for 1 year. They sold like hotcakes. They were really, really popular. And then in 1972, they came out with the JT2, which incorporated a secondary lighting coil for a headlight and a rear light. This is a JT1 model, so this headlight is not original to this bike. And let's take a closer look at the motor here. This is really cool. This cover right here is technically our airbox. And then that goes down into the machine, and then behind the casing here is gonna be our carburetor and our oil pump. And you can see up here we've got the choke, and I believe this is gonna be the idle screw. And then so we've got the petcock and the gas line going down, and then we've got the oil tank with the oil line going into the oil pump. And then these are probably the throttle cables for the carburetor and the pump. So it'll be interesting to see what that looks like back there. And then we've got the transmission oil here. Let's see if we've got any oil in there. Haven't checked this yet. Yeah, there's oil in there. Looks pretty clean too. There's quite a good amount of compression in there. And we've got the spark plug in the boot right here. We'll check for spark later. And the gas tank's not in too bad of shape. We've seen better. A few dings here and there. Nothing major, and I'm not sure if we're gonna hang on to this original paint or not. But yeah, we've got a lot of rust starting to happen here, so we'll probably end up sanding this thing down, as well as the oil tank here. We still have the original Yamaha tank badge here, which is really cool. Original ones practically don't exist anymore, and if you want to get new ones, they're pricey. There's no key ignition, just have this kill switch here. We've got a broken brake lever here that we'll have to replace. The front brake still works. So the tires are tube tires. Front tire, it's not horrible, but it is pretty bad. Yeah, we've got some cracking going on here. Some weathering, cracking going on there. Yeah, these will definitely need to be replaced. Front suspension isn't bad. Clutch still feels like it works a little bit. Might need some adjusting there, but it does feel like it still works. Muffler's intact with the heat shield. Still got the original chain guard here, and that chain tension is really good actually. Could use some oil. The flywheel cover's a little dinged up here, so looks like we're missing a rubber for the foot peg on the left side. So the right side is still there. And we're missing the rubber cover for the kickstart. The seat, I'm gonna assume this is original. Definitely gonna get a new seat cover there. Rear suspension isn't bad. I was checking that out whenever I was with the seller. I am really excited to hear this thing run. I have yet to ever hear one of these little guys run before. So let's check out what's under the seat here. So I think this slides back. There we go, got it. So original seat pan, he said it had been repaired, so somebody went back and welded on these little hooks. All right, looks like you just put the oil in there. There's no batteries, so there's not gonna be a battery housing or anything. I'm guessing maybe a tool kit was strapped down right here. And we are missing a kickstand, so we're gonna have to track down one of those. And it's a 4-speed, and it's 4 down and neutral's all the way up. And it does go through all the gears, so let's check that out real quick. All the way up, neutral. So there's first, second, third, and then fourth. And then back to third, second, first, and neutral. Cool. And I've already had a look inside the gas tank. I'll show you guys. It's actually, I mean, it's not too bad. This will clean up. Let me get a light. So yeah, there is some rust, but it's not horrible. All right, guys, well, we're told there's spark. There's supposed to be good compression. Feels like there is. And fuel should be good if we tinker around with the carburetor a little bit. Let's kind of start going through the checklist here, marking things off. Let's get this cover off and this side cover off. All right. Go ahead and be proactive here. Hit those with some WD as well. Let's see if these are going to be stubborn or not. Doesn't feel like it. I may need to remove this gas tank. We're obviously not going to use it right now with all that rust in there. Let's go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to have to get to that screw. And take the seat off. Alright, what do we got here? Is it just this bolt here? I think so. I think we're just latched on here. Go. Let's gas line off. There we go. May as well go ahead and take this petcock off. Hopefully the gas doesn't start leaking. There we go. Huh. Wow. Even still has the original filter. Alright, gas tank should come off now. Now we can get to this last screw here. There we go. Do this then. Let's get these off. There we go. All right. Hopefully there's a oil pump and carburetor back here. Okay. Oh yeah, that's filthy. Look at these cobwebs coming out. Man. That's interesting. The choke is obviously stuck. He did say that that was stuck, and you can feel it obviously. So let's get some WD-40 in there. And slide in here. Maybe we can just kind of work that a little bit. Let's open up this bleed screw. Let this oil drain out here. There we go. That one. There we go. Got the whole box out there. Had to disconnect all the lines. Alright, looks like we've got a little filter in here, so we'll take that off. Alright, I'm good with the air intake situation now. This is the only area where air will be getting sucked in. So now let's check spark and compression. Let's get this boot off. There we go. Let's see what size we got there. Spark plug doesn't look bad. I mean, it almost looks like it's been running lean. There's like no carbon on there. Wonder if maybe the seller had just cleaned this up. We'll assume that. It doesn't look bad though. Go ahead and put a little 2-stroke oil down in the cylinder there, just to lube it up some. It feels pretty good. I'm not hearing any crunching noises or anything. It's feeling pretty smooth. Alright, let's turn it over a few times, see if we got spark here. I think y'all can see that right there. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah. I saw that. You'll see that? Spark. Alright, cool. We got spark. Excellent. Alright, on to compression. Alright, let's put that right there. Alright, I think we're looking from something anywhere from about 70 to 90, somewhere around there. Oh wow, that's over 100. Dang. That's like really, really good. All right, let's do that again. Huh. Was not expecting that. Wow. Over 100. Well, that is fantastic. Before we try to start to fire this up, I want to have a look at the flywheel here. So I'm just going to take the shifter off to get to this plate. Alright, there we go. There it is. And this is all banged up. Need to try to straighten this out a little bit. We'll clean this up too. Alright. Doesn't look bad in there. Cool. And loosen this up. There we go. It should just come out. There it comes. Alright, cool. This slide out. Oh, that choke is stuck in there. I've never had this problem. Okay, well this unscrews. There we go. The spring. That choke is stuck in there. All right, well let's get this over to the table. Start working on it. Let's get into this float bowl here. go. It's pretty gunked up. How small this is. There's the float. Oh yeah. That's gunked up. Clean that out. Float looks like it might be alright. There's a little gash right there. Check that, make sure that's still working. This main is pretty bad. It's definitely clogged. Let's see if we can get that. Hopefully I can get that off. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, it's clogged. Alright, we'll clean that out. Needle, I guess the needle's right there. Does that come out? Let's see. Or maybe it comes out this way. Interesting. Let's see if we can get that. Oop. Okay, got that. There it is. Huh. So then it just springs down. Huh. Looks like a metal tip. Looks good. This guy. That must be our air screw. There we go. Alright, we've got the pilot right there. Let's get that out. Well, I almost forgot about the choke that's stuck in there. This piece screws in to the top there. So what I'm doing is I found a screw with the same threading that fits. So I'm fitting that in, letting it soak in some WD-40, and then I'm taking my pliers and slowly prying it out this way. I think it's working. I don't want to damage the carburetor. Oh, got it. Jeez Louise. Oh man, that thing's really corroded. Huh. Well, I'm surprised that worked. It doesn't look like we damaged it or anything, so that's good. Alright. Now we can really clean this up. Alright, I've got this housing area cleaned up, got the oil pump cleaned up there. Yeah, let's get that carb installed and see if we can get this baby to fire up. The oil injection line is back here. So it goes from behind the oil pump and up into there. All right, carburetor's reinstalled. We've got a gas line hooked up with some gas in it. We got some premix in there. And the choke is now working. So that's good. It's not stuck anymore. All right. Hold on a second. I think the muffler's clogged. Alright, let's see. This thing's clogged. Let's try this again. Muffler's off, got more gas. Let's see what happens. Turn the choke off. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. I went ahead and put the muffler back on, so check this out. This is what we kind of pulled out from there. It's like a piece of an acorn or something was jammed in there, some dirt and crud in there. My knee just popped. Alright, try it again. Got the muffler on tighter with the washer. Kill switch works. Man, that is impressive. Wow. And then this right here. That's what we're looking for, this guy, right there. Carburetor back on. So what we're looking for is oil coming out of right here. So let's keep an eye on that. We'll start it up. Gonna let some white vinegar soak in there for about a week or so, and we'll shake it up occasionally. And I also cleaned up our petcock a little bit. We'll check and make sure that's not leaking or anything while we do this. So let's go ahead and put some vinegar in there. Alright, so now what I think I want to do, we'll clean up this oil tank, get that off. I want to get this headlight off, because that is not original, and these brackets as well. And let's get this old fender off, and maybe try to see if our new fender is going to fit. We also just ordered a new front fender, so that looks real nice and clean. We'll have to repaint it, of course. So we got that off Amazon for 10 bucks. And we tried to track down an original, but man, I just could not find them anywhere. I found one on eBay. It was all dinged up and rusted and bent, and it was $80. All right, let's get this rear fender off. We got 2 bolts right here on the bottom. two more back here. All right, there we go. All right, let's get this other one. Yeah, there we go. And then these can slide up. Cool. Alright, let's have a look at this fender situation. Alright guys, I got the little bracket mount off for the front fender. So what we're gonna do is drill a couple of holes and use these bolts here and bolt the fender to the bracket here. And we're gonna set it about right there. So that's about where it's gonna sit. Then we'll make sure it's centered and level on the fender and then drill those and bolt it into place. So let's do that. Looks like a match. Alright, got the front fender on. Also found on eBay a number plate. I looked all over for originals, could not find them anywhere. Pretty much originals do not exist. Went ahead and put the tank back on, seat back on temporarily, and our new rear fender is on. So this is more of the complete look, an original look. So we're gonna take this and pretty it up from here. I think it's gonna look really cool once it's all done up. That brought it out a little bit there. Let's try again. Alright, let's replace this brake lever here. We've got a replacement in. It's an exact OEM part. Yeah, so that'll match. Cool, so let's get that on. That'll look a lot nicer. There we go. Alright guys, got it loose from the bottom there. There we go. Cool. Alright, brake is fixed. Working good. Happy with that. So the throttle cable here is a little loose. I think this little bracket piece here is probably bent. It looks bent. So let's get that off. That's not so wobbly. Alright, let's get this old seat cover off, finally. Oh man. Alright, well, this is what I wanted. Alright y'all, I think we've got the cushion, the new cushion, sort of cut out properly here. See how that fits with the cover on. Let's get it in there. That worked out really well. A lot of rust came out of there. Alright guys, I completely forgot to turn the camera on, but we've got the first coat of red. We just got some of this thin painter's tape and got that tape on for our white stripe that's going to be there. So we've already hit it with the white, and then we put the tape on, and then we hit it with the red. We're going to let this dry up, probably wet sand this down, and hit it with some more red, and then probably do like a clear coat or something like that. There we go. There we go. Oh yeah, that's looking clean. I'm gonna get all these this blemish off this paint here, and I'm using a 2000 grit. I'm gonna soak it, get it wet. Oops, try not to drop it in there. And just kind of lightly sand this thing. Oil tank is all cleaned up, and we just got the Mini Enduro decal. So let's get this on. And I can still faintly see where the old one was, so I'm just gonna line it up right there with it. So it should be pretty straightforward. There we go. Perfect, no air bubbles. That looks good to me, man. Oh, this bike is gonna look slick. I want to finally have a look at our little air box here. I've already taken 2 screws off that were right there. So I've done that. Now I'm about to pry this little piece up. This should be a filter. Oh yeah. So it's like a little sponge. Actually still feels pretty good. It's not breaking up or anything. It's not real brittle. It's still got some spring to it, some squishiness to it. I think I'm gonna blow this out with the air compressor, clean it up a little bit, and reuse this. I don't know if you can see, yeah, see the grass in there? There's like a mouse den at one point. Oop. There's, you see some of it coming out. I think we got it all. I want to get the front wheel off, get these forks off. I'm going to try a new method that I came across on getting rid of some of the rust on the chrome here. I think to get the forks off, we got to get the handlebars off. And we'll also get the rear tire off and the suspension. We have ordered 2 new tires, so those are coming in. I think they're actually coming in today. We also got our kickstand in the other day, so I went ahead and installed that, got a new spring. That's an original 1971 JT1 kickstand right there. Very cool when we can find an original piece for this machine. I can't wait to show you guys how the paint turned out. Oh man. And this rear tire is being a major pain in the butt. I cannot get this bolt off. Been trying to bang it off, and man, I cannot get it. So I'm getting frustrated with that, taking a break from it. Let me show you guys this really cool trick. It takes that rust right out. Man, it's crazy how fast this stuff works. Look at that. It's already shining in that up. God, dog. Got it. Man, that was one of the most stubborn bolts I'd ever had to get out in my life. There's a brake. Some bearings. Alright, got the first tire off. Got the tube out, so we need to keep that. And then we've got new tires here. So let's get into these guys. First side. Get the second side here. And I made a little bonehead mistake putting this tire on. I accidentally punctured the tube that's inside. So we got to take the tire back off, get the tube out, patch the tube, put the tube back in, put the tire back on, and air it back up, and we should be good to go. Alright, cool. Get that off. Cool. Alright. Got a brand new tube here that we'll install. And some of y'all in the comments gave me a hard time in my last video, so I've got these rubber protectors that protect from the spokes. So I've got that one on. I've got another one here that we'll put on. So this one's good to go, but it doesn't have the rubber band, so we'll take that off, put the rubber band on, and then we should be good to go with that one. And went ahead and ordered up and got some tire spoons. That should make some of y'all happy. Alright, so let's get to this one. Alright, so this little band here is to cover all these little spokes right here. It's like to protect the tube. Alright. Good deal. Alright y'all, been getting a little bit ahead of myself here. We got the whole bike back together, tried to fire it up and it would not start for us. And something I did start to notice is we weren't getting any suction whenever we try to kick the motor over. We had a bad crank seal, we had an air leak coming out, we had oil leaking, we had oil coming all down here. There was oil all over the flywheel here. I had to hold off and order a new seal. It was like 10 bucks on eBay. But we got that replaced, we got the new one in. Here's the old crank seal. Getting really brittle there. I think now we're gonna get the stator, flywheel all back together. Try to fire this baby up. Stator is ready to go back on here. Flywheel on. Alright y'all, without further ado, I now present to you the 1971 Yamaha JT1. Well, let's have a look at what we've done to her here. Do a little walk around here. I don't know if you can hear the music or not. Neighbors are getting some siding done on the house. Alright, I guess we'll start with the top down. We've got the new brake lever, the new clutch, chrome on the handlebars, looking real nice and clean. And not an original number plate, but I think this turned out well. My wife has a machine that cut these numbers out for us. 71 for the year. And our $10 Amazon fender, I think, turned out looking quite well. Front forks feel good. New front tire with the new tubes, that's holding air really well. Rims are looking nice and shiny. And I think the tank turned out really well here. Definitely better than what it was looking like. We hit the pipe with some paint, that's looking good. The chrome's looking real nice on the heat shield here. We did what we could to this flywheel cover. We may go back and try to clean this up a little bit. It's still looking pretty dinged up. Cleaned up this chain guard here, the chain's feeling good. Not too loose, not too tight. Cleaned up these rear shocks, those are looking really nice. And we also hit this frame too, frame's looking good. Cleaned up the kickstand here, we got a new spring there. And we added a foot peg there. I think the rear fender turned out really well. Got a couple of rubber grommet covers where the rear light bolted to. The seat, I think the seat's looking good, the cushion feels nice. Rear tire's looking good, rim is nice and cleaned up and polished. Rear brake feels good. We've got the new rubber on the kick lever here. Mini Enduro decal on the oil tank here. We tried our best to get these dents out, but oh well. A little personality never hurt. We replaced the petcock, got a new petcock, got some new gas lines with a filter. The airbox is all cleaned up. Carburetor's working good. Got the cover back on. And yeah, the original tank badge right there. So yeah guys, let me know what you think of this one in the comments. I think this one turned out looking really nice. Definitely an improvement from when we first rolled her into the garage. All right, I say we fire her up and take her for a spin. All right, y'all. Well, I think that is going to wrap it up for this series of the Mini Enduro. Thank you so much for watching. This one was a lot of fun. This little thing is just a ton of fun to ride around. The perfect mini motorcycle right here. All right, y'all. Well, that's going to do it. And until next time, peace. Take it easy.